Shanti and welcome to Being Shakti. Today we will be looking at the power to accept. Acceptance has been considered as one of the most difficult states to arrive at because we have so much resistance. Probably the best known of the process of arriving at acceptance is bereavement. Because when someone very close to you reaches the end of their life and they fly away, you are not happy with that. They have left you. You wish that it would not be true. If it is someone who is very old and you can see that they will leave soon, it's much easier to arrive at acceptance because you're prepared and it is timely. Where acceptance of death becomes very difficult is if it is sudden, accidental, worse, suicide, murder. Sometimes there are very big shocks and our immediate reaction is anger, distress, rage. We bargain that, oh God, if you will just bring them back, I will do this and I will do that. You blame, you pretend it's not true. You think that you will wake up tomorrow and find that it didn't happen after all, it was all imaginary. But ultimately, we have to arrive at this point where we say, yes, it happened, and whatever it is, whether it's good or bad, it is what it is, and we have to arrive at this very beautiful, serene state of acceptance. Of course, ordinarily, this does not come easy and it does not come quickly, and this is why they say time heals. But this power to merge or the power to accept is one of the powers that you can achieve through spiritual practice and study, because it is very helpful to be prepared in advance for some of the shocks and horrors that do happen in this world. We know that we are not living in the best of times, and in fact times are getting more and more stressful, more and more people are feeling insecure and uncertain. Because of these uncertain times, because of the stress, because of so many things being so seriously unacceptable, we react and we have this on our mind for days and days, weeks and weeks. And while this is going on in the mind, all of our spiritual inner power is getting drained away. I think one of the reasons why we find it's so hard to accept is because in the culture that we live in, the global culture, we look at everything in terms of it's right or it's wrong. Pleasant things are good, unpleasant things are bad. Bad things have to be resisted and we have to try to prevent them. But once something has happened, you can't turn the clock back. You can't make it unhappen. It just is what it is. And we do have to go through a series of emotions before we arrive at it. But if we have accumulated spiritual power, then we're able to go through that series of emotions relatively quickly. And we're also able to handle the emotions as they occur, and they may not be just in order and they may not happen just once. To arrive at a state of acceptance means that every so often the emotions of something being unacceptable will surge within and will erupt, and you will have to apply your power again and again until finally that incident is laid to rest. And we should not think that we have power if we can handle it once. It's not like that. Because the eruption of a very powerful, shocking event, an unacceptable event, will mark the soul very strongly, and you will have experiences where it comes up and then it dies down, but it will again and again come up, rather like the aftershocks of a major earthquake, which can continue for a long period of time, getting progressively less intense as time goes by. Sometimes the problem is not that something happened to you, but someone did something which caused you a great deal of shock, harm, distress, and a great deal of unhappiness. In that case, you will remember again and again the event, the incident, what you lost, how bad it was, and there will be a lot of self-talk about it. And it is necessary in spiritual practice to notice when we start having this kind of self-talk and to counteract it. We will counteract it through a different kind of self-talk. The self-talk that comes up because of the incident is based on our perception in normal consciousness, which we call body consciousness, in which we will have the conventional moral indignation. It shouldn't have happened. This person is to blame. And it's very much in our culture to look for who is to blame and to seek justice by getting somebody to carry the blame for it. And if we can punish that person, then somehow it makes the problem go away. But this is a belief that is not necessarily borne out by the reality. But it is the way our culture works. Now, in spiritual practice, we will be looking at things from a rather different angle. We have been given in spiritual knowledge the idea of the world as a great drama. This was also told to us by Shakespeare. All the world's a stage, and we are the players on it. And indeed, thinking about this whole world as a huge multi-channel TV station where there are so many different things going on, so many different theatres, so many different activities happening, and they're happening all around us, but it's still useful to consider it as a huge TV show. And we are both the actors and the spectators. When you think of the films that you watch, or reality TV or something like this, you watch it because you consider it to be entertainment. And even in a film which can bring up all sorts of emotions, you still find it very easy to lay aside those emotions after the scene is past, because you will say, well, it's entertainment, it's not real, it was a production. And we pay good money to see pictures of people destroying each other, chopping each other into pieces, making each other miserable. We enjoy doing that, and that's because we want stimulation, we want to feel something. But when it becomes something like that, or even in a much milder form, in reality, then we cannot let go. We hold on to it. And so this idea of looking at everything as a big TV show is very useful. And you can also consider that the events that you see on a screen, or the events that you perceive on the screen of your mind, which were brought there through your sense perceptions, are not that different. The difference is when we think something is real, or we think something is artificial or just entertainment. Why are we so affected by something we think is real? Partly because in terms of sense perception, on film it's sound and sight, but in reality all five senses are engaged: touch, taste, smell, sound, and you are in the scene, you are right in it, and you are an actor with the other actors. And so we need to practice this stage of being able to shift between being totally immersed in a scene and engaged and taken over by what's happening, and then an inner shift in which you become the detached observer. You are in your power. You do not take it personally, what's going on, but you respond to it as a person who is in their power. And sometimes if you become the villain in a scene, you do something wrong, maybe on purpose, maybe by mistake. But in a situation like that, very often a person says, I will never be able to forgive myself. So what does it mean to forgive oneself or to forgive another person? In different cultures and religions, the word forgiveness has a slightly different meaning, but basically it means that you do not hold it against yourself, you do not hold it against another person. You manage the incident, you let it be, you work through it until you are clear and calm about it, and then you lay it to rest, because you understand that it was inevitable. If something was not your fault, then let it not be your fault, and do not be unwilling to forgive yourself and remind yourself, though it was a very bad thing, it was not your fault, and you cannot endlessly punish yourself or hold it against yourself or feel that you have lost face because of it. No. We have to be able to accept what it is, even if it involves great humiliation and that people may lose respect and regard for you. This also happens if you are falsely accused and someone outside of yourself wants to let everyone in the world know that you are not a good person, and they will accuse you of something, they will find all kinds of evidence to prove it, and they will blacken your character. And this is not your fault. There is nothing you can do. Someone didn't like you, maybe they were jealous of you, whatever their reasons were. What we need to do is to separate my karma and someone else's karma. Karma means what? I, the actor in this stage, I perform, I do some action. I think, I speak, I write, I say, I do. And what someone else does I have to manage it, but I do not have to suffer for somebody else's mistake, in the sense that someone else made a mistake, they did something wrong, they did something against me. What do I do in that case? I may feel many different emotions. I may feel injustice. I may feel this is not fair. Why did this person do that? How come everybody believed them? Why do they turn their attention away from me and look at me as a culprit, as a bad person? But we can think of it as a test. This is a test to find out whether I will manage this scene in the drama without losing consciousness of who I am and without shifting from my seat of self-respect. And that means that I will accept public opinion, I will accept what someone did, and I will move on. Knowing the laws of karma and knowing the idea of the world or life as a drama, a film, helps you to be free and let go much more quickly than otherwise. It is a scene in the drama. I'm an actor. The scene is over. It's nothing to do with me anymore. It's as unreal or artificial as if I would be playing on a film set in some film. I do not take it that I am that character. In any theatre or film, it's lovely to play the hero, but someone has to be the victim, someone has to be the villain. And this is because it is cathartic, and the spectators need to pass through all of these emotions, because when they do it through theatre or film, it purges them. The problem is doing it in reality. And we need power to be able to do it in reality. Obviously, everyone wants to be a good person. Everyone believes I am a good person. And there is this question, why do bad things happen to good people? Well, we can say it is because of karma, or it is in the script. And then in that case, we must take it as a test. And a person who wishes to achieve spiritual fulfillment, competence, and build capacity, they have to be ready for tests. And the test will be unexpected, it will not be what you would prefer, you may not be proficient enough to handle it, but the purpose of a test is to make you experienced and to make you strong. And so therefore, whenever any big test comes, then you need to use some of the powers that we're talking about in this series, and ultimately this wonderful power of acceptance, the power to merge, so that everything is merged into the past. You set it to rest, you let it be, you pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and get ready to play the next scene. And even if you fall down, you pick yourself up again. If someone knocks you down, you pick yourself up again. If you, by mistake, knock someone else down, you apologize, you say what you have to say. If there is conflict, you have to work it out, negotiate. If you cannot work it out, then let it be. Set everything to rest and accept that it is what it is. Let us take some time now for meditation on this power of acceptance, the power to merge. Gently turn your attention within and be aware of the things that have shocked you, that have distressed you, that you deeply believe are not right, are unjust, that should not have happened. But you had no power over it. You could do nothing. And so you have to let it be. And you look at that scene in the screen of your mind. Feel the emotions that it raised within you of shock, disappointment, horror, sadness, anger. Feel those feelings. Let them arise within you. And with your inner power, expand yourself to be able to handle those feelings. And observe them reach a pitch, a climax. But you do not break, you do not burst, you grow to be able to contain those feelings. And then they subside. They have passed through. You have handled it. It is what it is. It had to be. And you accept. The feeling of acceptance is quiet and steady. You are calm after the storm. You feel a deeper part of your being which was not touched by that distress. You settle yourself in that eternal space of light and stillness. And you accept it was what it was. It is what it is. And you choose to let it be. It may erupt again. You look at it again. See it for what it is. Let the feelings move through you, rise up, and then subside. And you are all right with it. You accept. Life goes on. You are at peace with yourself. You are at peace with what happened. There is no guilt, no blame. You accept the consequences. Consequences may be bitter, but you are strong. You handle them. You accept. It is like this. And from your place of inner calm, set yourself on your seat of self-respect. Know that you are eternal and immortal, and you must move on. Know that you are essentially pure, peaceful, and in your power, and you will always be you. The scenes will come and go. The drama is full of victory and defeat, pain and pleasure, success and failure. And you find your equilibrium among these pairs of opposites, and you accept the way things are, and most of all you accept you, yourself. You would not ultimately have it any other way. And through acceptance, everything becomes clear. And gently let yourself reconnect with the here and now. You're in your power, ready to face whatever comes. You have understood the lessons, and you are at one with yourself, in your power.